My roommate's boyfriend started living at our apartment without anyone's permission after he bailed her out of a DUI. His car was packed full of clothes and garbage bags like he'd been living out of it for weeks. Then she started telling people she needed him there for protection from me. My roommate Jess and I signed a lease together on a 2-bedroom apartment in September. We weren't close friends going in. We found each other through a mutual coworker who told me Jess was clean, quiet, paid her bills on time, and was easy to live with. That was good enough for me. The first 2 months were completely uneventful, which is exactly what I wanted out of a living situation. She kept to herself, I kept to myself. We split the cost of things like dish soap and paper towels and took turns buying trash bags. It was the kind of arrangement where you can go 3 days without having a real conversation and nobody feels weird about it. That's exactly how I like it. Quiet apartment, simple rules, no surprises, no drama. Just 2 adults splitting rent and staying out of each other's way. Then Jess got a DUI the weekend before Thanksgiving. She called me at 2 a.m. from the police station, crying so hard I could barely understand what she was saying. She asked me to come pick her up. I pulled on a sweatshirt, grabbed my keys, and drove 25 minutes through pouring rain at 2 a.m. on a work night to pick her up from a police station. I didn't complain. I didn't lecture her. I just brought her home. She was a complete disaster. Mascara smeared down both sides of her face, heels in one hand, phone in the other, barely able to walk a straight line to my car. I put a glass of water on her nightstand and went back to bed without saying a word about it. The next morning, she sat at the table with sunglasses on and a cup of coffee she wasn't drinking. She was quiet and clearly embarrassed. I didn't push it. I didn't ask what happened or how much she'd had. I just went about my morning and gave her space. 2 days later, a guy named Ronnie showed up at the front door. He drove a beat-up sedan with the entire back seat stuffed with clothes and garbage bags. Not folded, not organized, not packed in any kind of order. Just thrown in like someone had 10 minutes to empty a room and never planned on going back to wherever they came from. Jess rushed to the front door and introduced him before I could even open my mouth to ask who this person was standing in our hallway. This is Ronnie. He bailed me out the other night. He's going to crash here for a couple days while he sorts some stuff out. I said fine because a couple days sounded like a couple days. Ronnie never left. By the end of the first week, his toothbrush was in the bathroom next to mine. His boots were by the front door every morning. His jacket was draped over the couch when I woke up. He helped himself to food I'd bought with my own money without ever asking or offering to replace anything. He started making full meals at 11 p.m. like he owned the place, using pans I paid for, and left every single pot and dish stacked in the sink for me to find crusted over the next morning. He took 30-minute showers so long and so hot that steam would pour out from under the bathroom door, and by the time I got in, there was never a drop of hot water left. I pulled Jess aside on day 8. I told her Ronnie needed to leave. Our lease agreement was very clear about this. Section 4, paragraph 2. No additional occupants without prior written consent from both tenants and approval from the landlord. Jess got defensive the second I brought it up. He's not living here. He's just staying for a bit while he figures things out. His clothes are in your closet. His car hasn't moved from the lot in 6 days. He's living here. He bailed me out of jail. I owe him at least this much. Then you owe him somewhere that isn't the apartment I pay half the rent on. She stopped speaking to me after that conversation. Not a cold shoulder. Full erasure. Like I was a piece of furniture she'd decided to stop seeing. She would walk right past me in the hallway like I was a wall. Not a glance, not a sound, nothing. She'd leave a room the second I walked into it. Meanwhile, Ronnie got more comfortable by the day. He took over the entire living room during the day. TV on, feet on the coffee table, remote in his hand like he'd been paying rent here for years. He left laundry sitting in the washer overnight. He parked his car in my assigned parking spot, and when I told him to move it, he said Jess told him that spot was open. 2 weeks into this, I emailed the landlord with a formal complaint. I laid out the full situation. Unauthorized occupant living in the unit without consent. Ongoing. Lease violation. I included specific dates, details, and a timeline of everything that had happened since Ronnie showed up. He said he'd send a written notice. 3 days after that, Jess cornered me in the hallway. You went to the landlord? You gave me no other option. Ronnie was gone by day 5. Jess broke the lease 2 weeks later.